staging for traditional protests here in front of the Capitol building in Plandemic. Da in der mehrfachen Aufforderung, diese Auszüge nicht nachgekommen sind, wird
all of their plans that they have been working on for 50 plus years. See, they did not just come up with Corona. This is wicked stuff. Okay? Now, watch. We're going to go to anti-globalism, okay? And we're going to read this a little bit. And then I'm going to see if there's got a video, or let's see if we can just listen to it first. Hang on a second. Let's listen to the audio before I go any further. Listen to the audio.
Here's Thomas Hale from the University of Oxford describing some of the key issues associated with the topic of global governance.
We need global governance more than ever. In a world of deepening interdependence, global issues are the daily bread and butter of what governments are trying to deliver for citizens. We can't have peace or prosperity, live good lives, unless we're dealing with things like climate change or pandemic disease or global financial crises. But the tools we use to manage these kind of global issues, to manage our interdependence, are increasingly gridlocked. If we think about the global trade system, we haven't had a new trade deal at the multilateral level for about 20 years. If we look at the Middle East, we see uncontrollable wars spiraling out of control without any kind of collective security apparatus to prevent them from slipping over into other issue areas. And related, we see, for example, a global migration crisis where people are moving in search of a better life, in search of human dignity, and not being able to be cared for by a global system that's under incredible strain. For all these reasons, we need a strong global governance system to help manage our common challenges and deliver the real needs citizens are clamoring for. But unfortunately, we actually see a backlash against global governance. And actually, these two things are linked. In fact,
They're already identifying a backlash against global governance. Okay? See, they're referring to people like us, people like myself, who is against one world government. We believe that everybody should be a government of their own, a culture of their own, not to form any borders together. There's no reason into it other than you're trying to enslave the world. That's the whole purpose why they're trying to globalize everything under one central control. And this where we have one master, one currency, one religion, and that's worshiping the master. So, and that right there, I'm not going to do, and I'm not for this game that they're trying to do. So, anyhow, so they're already been studying us for a long time. They would create, beta tests to see and study how we would respond and act upon those beta tests, and as a way to set into place laws that protect them with their agendas to move forward, and to also to imprison us if we get too close or try to expose them for their corruptions. They would use all of our systems and institutions to turn against the American people and also against every individual person worldwide. And their governments were also behind the one world government. Iran was behind it. Every country, Iran, Turkey, all of the Middle Eastern countries were all for the global governance. They all already were on board. They were all pretending to be enemies with each other so that they could keep you always focused on the enemy, always creating issues that you're focused on the issues instead of focusing on what these SOBs were doing behind the scenes. And now you see exactly what they were doing. They were not just creating a one world government, they were going in detail with their one world government.
H.G. Wells said at the League of Nations, which was the embryo for the United Nations, he said, this is the nucleus of the world governments, when eventually all laws will come from there, be passed and signed into law by treaty of all the member countries. Eventually, we won't even have to go through the farce, and that's what it is, of voting in parties or candidates, because in the latter part of the 20th century, and now into the 21st century, we're being trained, rather obviously, to simply accept rule by experts, rule by scientists, rule by professionals, and that's what they mean when they call governance. That's the term used.
And you notice how he calls us out and calls us nationalist backlash against globalization. That's what he says right here. And that's what he was talking about the backlash. Listen to that.
Failure to manage globalization, to manage global issues, creates conditions under which nationalist or populist movements come to power. Now those leaders are in many ways articulating legitimate grievances, people who have been hurt by the financial crisis in 2008, for example, or who are struggling to adjust to new realities, are right to stand up and demand some sort of collective solution. But unfortunately, they're increasingly demanding solutions that are not constructive to solving the problem, but instead undermining the ability of governments to cooperate across borders to resolve the problems that it gave rise to the backlash in the first place. And so we see a self-reinforcing cycle of gridlock, where a failure to manage globalization and manage global governance well leads to more reactions against globalization that make the problem even harder to solve.
Basically telling us that let the government handle everything, and we nationalist backlashers that are against the globalization, just back off and just trust the government. Put all your love in the government. They will handle everything. No, people, that is not what they're trying to do. We're trying to enslave the damn world. We're not here to be slaves to their order. And they're not trying to do it for the better of the good for every human being on the planet. Because they're trying to force microchip implants, create artificial intelligence. I mean, they already have it, which I'm going to show you here right now. Okay, but first, before I do that, I'm going to show you the anti-globalism. Okay, now remember, I said each topic have 200 layers of information. It just keeps on going. Corporate governance and civic participation and taxation, work and employment, and geopolitics, values, migration, geoeconomics, Turkey, United States, climate change. And it goes, and this is, well, I'm sorry, not climate change, but that's where just anti-globalism, and you click on any one of those, it takes you down another rabbit hole. And it's just like it just continues and goes on and on and on and on, non-stop. And deepening interdependence, okay? Watch this. And it lights up. It goes all the way to civic participation, taxation, climate change, European Union, environmental and natural resources, global health, and Corona-19, 5G. In other words, this is all under the Corona-19 that they wanted to bring this changes in and to add 5G using the Corona-19 to alienate that and to make it possible. Okay? And when you click on that, 5G, watch this. It opens up a whole nother Pandora's box. And it gives you all the summaries over here on the right-hand side. You can even watch videos on the 5G and also the news on 5G. And how that they also the internet is fighting the corona. Okay, they're not fighting the corona, guys. This is what I'm trying to say. What they're trying to do is use the corona as a smokescreen so that all of these places that in these little ideas and that they're trying to come up with to put you all on the spectrum on a global controlled grid. And 5G was the chosen grid they want to put you in.
The entire human race on the 5G network will be biodigitally social programmed. Their thoughts, their brain chemistry, their neural networks completely replaced with a 5G system that comes from the data and the artificial intelligence directed from Google's DeepMind and the quantum technology. So humanity will no longer be themselves. They will be a program subservient of Google's system. And I'm not blaming these little techs that are making this. They're just excited. They don't understand the big picture.
In other words, every man will be microchipped and they will be entered into the 5G network where they can share and transfer information about you all over the world in a megasecond, okay, or in a millisecond. So you can see the infrastructures, okay? Cities and urban, I'm sorry, not that one, we just missed that one here. Digital identity, okay? That's one that there for the 5G. That's about the biometrics, okay, being implanted in everybody. But notice how it's all hidden under the corona screen, under the corona smoke screen, okay? Cybersecurity, financial and monetary systems, banking and capital markets, so they can now control all of your banking movements and activity worldwide under one central control system. No matter what you do, they do it. It belongs to them. They own it. They control it. They do whatever they want with your money. They can even make your money deleted on your account, and you will be completely deleted from surviving in this new world order. Supply chain and transport. This is right here, the banking and capital markets. Okay? International security. On and on. Internet of Things and healthcare delivery, geoeconomics and global risks. Okay? You can go on and on and on and on and on and on. 5 spectrum. Let's see what that goes in. Okay? It gives you, it focuses on changing in the cities and urbanization, infrastructures, future of computing, public financing and social protection, and sustainable development. And guys, I am telling this stuff is big. Big. You can't make this stuff up. I told you already. We found the Holy Grail. I told you these people, the corporate companies, were the ones behind all these games. They were the ones promoting this. They're the ones constantly building and building and building and building the ability and using staged actors to act out these scenarios that they were designing so that they could get all of your freedoms. 9/11 was created by these people. Now you ask, where are these people from? Mossad, Kabbalah. Every one of them. They're all members of the Kabbalah. Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Skull and Bones. This is what you're seeing, guys. This is their work. The art of the demons. This is what they do best. Sitting and planning how they can destroy the lives of every human being on the planet. And also, creating subhumans. And artificial intelligence. You remember we covered that a while ago? Let's go and do that right now. Artificial intelligence, right here. Okay? That's going to be under the five value creation. Okay? And it goes into also Republic of Korea and automotives. Okay? Controlling the automotive industry, Internet and things and infrastructure, future and economics and sustainable developments and agile governance. And digital communications, and also European Union, retail, consumer goods and lifestyle, artificial intelligence, which is right here. Use of robots, making us either subhuman or using robots to replace the humans altogether. A device for the earlier detections of eyesight problems, okay? How to ensure human control, look at that, over autonomous weapons, okay? Shaping trustworthy artificial intelligence. And tiny robots with giant potentials, okay? And when humans become cyborgs, you see that what I'm talking about? Right there. When humans become cyborgs. That's brutal, guys. Okay, here we go. An aging population is creating new demands for workers, okay, and reverberating across economies. As older populations expand faster than younger populations, it is disrupting traditional social structures where younger family members have had primary responsibilities for caring for their elders and creating more dependency on hospitals and institutions. The gap between the need for elderly caregiving and existing supplies is widening. By 2060, there will be only one caregiver in Europe for every 51 people aged 80 or older, according to the European Commission's projections. As elder caregiving needs increase and so-called care economy is emerging, it is having a significant impact on the workforce as it leads to increased absenteeism and decreased productivity.